It's the chakra of spiritual potential. And what are we all but spirits encased in a container? So this person's spiritual potential, his life mission, is about overcoming that container while still being immersed in it. I know. Deep. One of the things that made me really take dreams seriously was recurring dreams. You start to notice that certain themes don't just disappear. People keep dreaming about teaching or guiding, building systems, protecting other people, giving speeches, and really just generally trying to navigate challenges. And when something shows up that consistently, it's worth asking, why do we keep returning to it? Have you ever looked at your dream from this perspective? Seriously, why aren't we taught this? This is something Carl Jung pointed out many years ago, that recurring dreams tend to reflect long-term psychological orientation, not just randomness. So the idea that dreams show your life mission isn't a new or a fringe idea. Psychologists, dream researchers, clinicians have been pointing out how dreams show your life purpose, but they might just be using different language. Dream interpretation has never belonged to a priesthood, a religion, the psychological elite, or a spiritual class. We can all interpret our dreams. Humans have been working with dreams as long as there's been humans. I've always found it interesting how little attention modern society gives to dreams, considering how reliably they track what's important over time. So what I want to do next is look at a dream that points to life direction in a very clear way. As we go, I'll point out where this way of looking at dreams comes from. A clear example that I've seen of a life direction dream is from a recurring childhood dream. In this dream, the dreamer finds himself enclosed in a glass tank full of water and then submerged deep into the ocean. There's just enough light for him to see around him. Meanwhile, he's banging on the glass, trying to get free. No one is there, and he's panicked, thinking that he's going to drown and die alone inside this tank. And he had this dream repeatedly throughout childhood, and it continued until he began moving towards what later became his life's mission. Across dream research, recurring dreams are definitely treated differently than just single dreams. Researchers like Calvin Hall and William Domhoff found that when dreams repeat over years, they usually reflect something central to how a person is oriented in life. So when you return to that same situation over and over, it's usually not a fear or a trauma to overcome, but an ongoing inner orientation that hasn't found expression yet. This idea shows up strongly in cognitive research by Domhoff, that dreams tend to mirror how someone already engages in the world. When I was working with this dreamer, he said something very specific. He didn't see himself as someone who wanted to be isolated, but he said that he would also be fine being alone by choice. But what's painful is feeling alone without choosing it, wanting depth and connection, but not finding people who are willing to meet him there. And this distinction shows up very clearly in the dream. The glass tank is what separates him. He can see clearly out, but he isn't truly in contact. And the depth of the ocean that he's submerged in reflects his capacity and desire to go deep emotionally and relationally. In waking life, he told me that he has plenty of surface level friends. What he hasn't found were people who wanted to dive deep with him. Everything up to this point that I've talked about is based on broadly accepted dream research that already exists. What I'm about to describe next is the lens that I personally used to look at this dream, using my own dream guidance method, which looks at how information transmits through dreams via the chakras. This dream consistently mapped to the sacral chakra, and I'll tell you how. So if you're not taking a dream course with me, I'll give you a hint. Just read a little bit about the chakra systems. You don't have to be an expert or a spiritual guru, but you'll see that they are replete with meaning that help you tie your physical body and incarnation mission with your spiritual body. And this ties directly to your dreams. And so now you can look at your dreams this way too. Put your dream in the comments or a little snippet of it, and let's discover what chakra is associated with it together. I'm telling you, dreams just never cease to fascinate me. The sacral chakra is associated with the element of water. Time in the womb, with emotional bonding, intimacy, creativity, and what internally drives us. And in this dream, the emotional depth is what is emphasized. Can you see now clearly how being a body enclosed in a water container, submerged within another body of water, is a very clear representation of womb territory? Have you had this kind of dream or something similar? You might think, wait, this dream is about survival, and that's the root chakra. But remember, the dreamer is the important one here. Dream has this person submerged in depth, which matches the sacral chakra. And ultimately, the energy of the dreamer is the most important thing. And this person said that he wants connection and not separation. And in this case, the sacral goes way beyond the root chakra. It goes way beyond survival. Despite him being very independent in waking life, the dreamer carried a strong fear of emotional dependency. He didn't consciously see himself as needy, quite the opposite. But internally, the fear was that if someone got close, the bond would turn into dependence. And this fear created a subtle contradiction. Energetically, he was holding a signal of, don't get too close, I might get attached to you, rather than I'm open to strong emotional connection while staying sovereign. And as we dug deeper into that contradiction, we found the core birth wound programming. That was, I don't belong. So the dream wasn't saying, you're lonely, you're panicked, you have anxiety, go take a pill to take care of that. It was showing a deeper pattern. A person built for depth, connection, and emotional immersion who doesn't actually believe that he belongs. Dreams that show your life mission, what you were born to do or overcome, are typically expressed through the sacral chakra. At least that's what I've found in the majority of dreams that I've looked at like this. So if you're still having a dream that maps to the sacral, just dig into that and see if there's more work to be done around the birth wound. As for me, I've had to do a ton of work around my birth wound programming of I'm not important. Another story for another video, but let's follow up with this dreamer. What's telling is that this recurring dream faded once he began moving toward relationships that matched his depth. From a life direction perspective, that's often what these recurring dreams are doing. They're not predicting a future or telling you what you have to do. They're revealing a mismatch between who someone is oriented to be and how they're currently living. And that pattern in dreams has been observed in different ways for much longer than I've been alive, at least. Once again, thanks for dreaming with me. And until we meet again, may your nights be rich with guidance and your mornings full of clarity.